Hello, welcome to 49 Gateways of Growth. Okay, we are on number 38. Number 38 is very important. It's a technique to overcome anger. And effectively, this technique is given by the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, and he kind of quotes a statement, a bit of a bizarre statement, that the Jewish sages, who are very great, knowledgeable rabbis, say that a person who gets angry is like a person who worships an idol. And the question is why? What's the comparison? And the answer is because when you're angry, you're attributing the cause of what happened to a human being, right? Somebody shouldn't have done that. Obviously, let's say, I'll give you an example. If a dog barks at you, you don't get angry at the dog. Why? Because you can't expect the dog not to bark at you. But if a human barks at you, you'll get angry at them. Why? Because what are you barking for? That's rude. So you see, it's based on expectations. But if you can change the expectations, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, she got bitten by a dog. And I don't remember the exact details, but she asked the dog owner, only give me 50% of whatever, the medical bill. You know why? Because she said 50% of it was my karma, was on me. And that's the point. They say people in India are much more calm than people in the West. Because in the West, everything's about responsibility, but really, everything is about God. God is the one that decides what happens. So when you can look at something that happened, in fact, once unfortunately in my home in Kansas City, my parents' home, I should say, there's this door that leads to the basement. And once I opened the door, and literally, unfortunately, I opened it into my father, and it really hurt him. It went in, like the door handle went into his hand. And my father's a very great man, and I said to him, at the time, sorry. He says, don't, he said something basically, you didn't do it, your God did it, right? So when a person can see reality in that way, that it's coming from God, it immediately changes the picture because let's say somebody was very rude to me, but I think actually that was God, because the Alter Rebbe explains that even though what that person did is wrong and they'll be punished and whatever, they have to either get forgiven or they have to ask for forgiveness, etc. But at the end of the day, it had to happen to you because you had to grow. And I mean, obviously I've said this before, but my greatest pains were also my greatest gains. So don't be upset at the people that made you grow, because ultimately God wanted you to grow and he used those people. And, the best thing is to be able to forgive them for what they did, or at least confront them, tell them they did something wrong. But don't be angry at them, because that's not a helpful thing. And it actually is usually helpful to realize it's all from God. In fact, there was somebody that suffered from survivor's guilt, which, what is survivor's guilt? How come God allowed me to live and not them? And the Rebbe wrote back, but if you believe in God, you can't suffer from survivor's guilt, because that was a choice that God made. You don't understand. There are things that we don't understand. And so once we get to that level, and even something that happens to us, some things we don't understand, but as long as we know that it came from God, we'll be okay. So here's a great technique of overcoming anger.